Hello everyone. Tiger man, you're cute, but can you just give us a moment? Hello everyone, I am back and today we are going to be talking about Jake Daniels, the young 17-year-old Blackpool footballer who recently came out as being gay.
And I think now is just the right time to do it. You know, I feel like I'm ready to tell people about my story. I want people to know the real me. And lying all the time just isn't what I've wanted to do, and it has been a struggle. But now I just do feel like I'm ready to be myself, be free, and just be confident with it all.
And it's a huge and beautiful thing, and so bloody brave that he's been able to do it. And the most remarkable thing about it is that no other player who currently plays football has came out in the professional game, in the top tier professional game, since Justin Fashanu, who played for Norwich City back in 1990, so 32 years. That is ludicrous. And I suppose we've just got to ask ourselves, why has it taken so long? What does it mean now for the footballing world, and how can we all continue to support Jake Daniels and those footballers who inevitably feel like they still don't feel safe or they don't have the comfort or the support they need to come out, and how can we as a society kind of help bring about that change and continue to move forward? So let's have a chat. Blackpool forward Jake Daniels said he has received amazing support from his teammates after telling them about his sexuality. He is the first professional football player in British men's football to come out publicly since Justin Fashanu back in 1990. On coming out, Jake Daniels said, "For a long time I thought I would have to hide my truth because I wanted to be, and now I am a professional footballer. I asked myself if I should wait until I retired to come out. No other player in the professional game here is out." And we need to ask ourselves, why is it that certain footballers, and there's only been a small handful that have came out since retiring from football, but what is it about the comfort that retirement gives these footballers where they no longer feel the pressure, or they don't feel as much pressure to come out after retirement? Is there an issue within the game itself? Is there, and I feel like there definitely will be, but is there like a culture of homophobia that doesn't allow them to feel comfortable? Do they as footballers see some sort of homophobia within the game, within their club, within what their teammates talk about, within the language that is used around them in the kind of changing room out on the football pitch? Is it a community thing? Is it football as an entity that needs to kind of change or create some sort of infrastructure that allows them the support to come out? I don't know, but these are the things we need to ask and we need to explore in order to understand the kind of struggles that footballers have on coming out and, becoming their real selves, that, sharing their truth within the world of football. So Jake continues, "However, I knew that would lead to a long time of lying and not being able to be myself or lead the life that I want to. Since I've came out to my family, my club and my teammates, that period of overthinking everything and the stress it created has gone. It was impacting my mental health. Now I am just confident and happy to be myself finally." And it is so important, and it is so, kudos to him. It was like beautifully said, but it's that notion of the mental impact that it has on you to kind of hide this person that you are, and the freedom and the kind of the burden that can be lifted just by being able to kind of allow the world in and allow those closest to you in to just kind of say, look, this is who I am. I'm a gay man. And, that is equally as important, and equally as important for us to understand as a footballing community and as a society, that we aren't allowing gay men, the freedom of being themselves, and we are participants, I suppose, in not creating a space that's comfortable enough for them to be right in their own head. You know, it is impacting their mental health, and we need to allow these safe spaces and create these safe spaces and create the support network that they need to fully be comfortable in themselves, where they can have a more positive mental outlook, because we are providing a space for them that is far more safe and far more comfortable for them to be their true self. Oh, man. We're now going to look at Justin Fashanu and just explore what a great player he was back in the day, and the backlash that he got from coming out as a gay footballer at the peak of his career. And just to kind of reiterate how good of a footballer he was, Justin Fashanu was a groundbreaker, and in 1981 he became the country's most expensive black player with his $1 million move to Nottingham Forest. So he was like the equivalent of like a Wayne Rooney, like just peak footballer, top of his career. People were snapping him up or wanted to snap him up. He was brilliant. And he also scored an unbelievable goal for Nottingham Forest. I'll probably put that in the video because it's like an insane goal.
Ryan, Fashanu. Oh, what a goal! Oh, that's a magnificent goal!
On October 22nd, 1990, he told the world his truth in an interview with The Sun. And of course, nothing good's ever going to come out of talking to The Sun. But the headline they ran with was, 1 million football star, I am gay. Inevitably, from this article back in 1990 when he came out, he started to receive backlash from footballing fans, from his manager, from his family, and we're going to kind of go into that and explore that backlash that received. And again, it'll just kind of shine a light on why it maybe has taken 32 years for somebody else to feel comfortable enough to come out, because what happened to Justin Fashanu was awful.
Justin Fashanu came out as gay in 1990 during an interview with a national newspaper. He then fought against discrimination from the stands and sometimes in his own dressing room.
It was stated that, Fashanu's career perhaps should have included more trophies, goals and England caps. His potential was certainly curtailed by football's and society's unwillingness to accept Fashanu's sexuality even before he publicly came out. So there was clearly stories that Justin Fashanu was gay before he came out to the world himself. And maybe it was because of these stories and these rumours that were going around that he felt that, actually, I've just got to put an end to this. I've got to come out. So it wasn't, he didn't come out on his terms, it doesn't seem. He maybe came out due to the pressure and the rumours and the gossip that was going on around him, that he just finally said, I've just got to do it myself. And, that in itself is an awful thing to do, where, you're outed as being gay before you even feel comfortable doing it yourself. Oh, man. And it wasn't just his manager. Again, this goes deeper. Even his brother, John Fashanu, admitted to offering Justin £75,000 to stay quiet and keep his sexuality to himself. And Justin would later say he was offered more money to stay silent than he was to sell his story. His brother told the Daily Mirror, John, I begged him, I threatened him, I did everything I could possibly to try and stop him coming out. I gave him the money because I didn't want the embarrassment for me or my family. Had he came out now, it would be a different ball game. There wouldn't be an issue, but there was then. Things are different now. Now he'd be hailed a hero. And I don't know how John thought that was going to kind of come across for him saying that, but for me, and again, there's nothing wrong with accepting the fact that you were living through a time of ignorance back then and your views were maybe different compared to what your views are now, but to kind of admit and show that you avidly turned your back on your brother to benefit your own standing in society, to kind of protect the embarrassment that you or your family would receive because your brother wanted to come out as gay. It's upsetting, it's horrifying in a way that, you would protect yourself more than protecting your own brother from the backlash he would inevitably receive from coming out as gay.
Yeah, I'll make it very clear, I was a monster to Justin then. You paid him to keep quiet?
Oh, yes, I paid him
£75,000.
I paid him to not to say that he was gay.
And not only that, but unfortunately over time, Justin Fashanu's mental health deteriorated, and he actually ended up committing suicide because, well, and it's not to say that it was just because of this, but we can speculate and we can assume that this would have played a huge part in why he felt that he didn't want to live, unfortunately, and that he ultimately felt like it was better to end his life. And, what a shame that is, that, he couldn't live his life the way he wanted on his terms because he never truly had the support that he needed when he first came out, and he had to kind of live a life kind of like shunned and hidden from the world of football because of who he was and what he stood for as a gay man. So where do we go from here, and how can we support Jake Daniels and other footballers from this moment on? Because it's important that we do. As I've probably mentioned a few times before in this video, the work doesn't stop now. Yes, Jake Daniels came out and he has kind of provided a platform, hopefully, for other footballers to do the same, who feel like they don't have a space or the support network to come out and, speak their truth. But there is still stigma around it, and, being gay in the world of football is something that we all need to kind of be a part of and work out ways in which we as a community can create safe spaces and a support network where nobody has to feel like they need to hide who they are. And there's a few little statistics that just kind of represent the work that we have to do, and they are as follows. 72% of football fans have heard homophobic abuse. 1 in 5 18 to 24-year-olds say they'd be embarrassed if their favourite player came out. And young people are twice as likely to say anti-LGBT language is harmless if it's just meant as banter. 72% of fans have heard homophobic abuse. So, whether that's in pubs, clubs, friends' houses, in the stadium, it is up to us as allies and supporters to stamp that out. And if you kind of hear homophobic abuse, you say no, that is not on. We as a footballing community do not condone that sort of behaviour. And not just because Jake Daniels has came out as gay, but because we as a person within the world, within culture, within society, I do not accept that language or that behaviour. And again, just that kind of thought process around, LGBT language is harmless if it's just meant as banter. And again, when I think back to when I was in school and you would throw around the word gay as a kind of slur, like, oh, it's gay for crossing your legs, it's gay for wearing a pink t-shirt. And, it's that kind of language that does, in younger minds and even adult minds, kind of start to kind of trigger a certain fear response around what it means to be gay. This notion that being gay can be perceived as a joke, and, the kind of domino effect of that is that, well, I don't want to be perceived as a joke, I don't want to be the butt of a joke. In order to not be that, I don't want to be gay, I don't want to be surrounded by what it means to be gay. And these are and this is why we need to kind of explore and deter ourselves from using homophobic language, whether or not you mean it, whether or not it's banter. It just needs to stop, and we need to kind of start supporting one another in having the confidence to kind of stamp it out. And if you hear a friend calling it out, back that friend up and say, no, I'm going to stand by him. It is not on, you can't use that language. Because it is tough when you're on your own to kind of call it out yourself. And, I've felt that at times in myself where I have maybe shied away from times from hearing certain language of abuse given out because I, as one person, do not feel like I can control that situation. But if I knew that there was going to be other people behind me who'd have my back to do that, I'd feel more comfortable. And it's just that notion of we are all stronger if we are together. And is that not what football's about? Being together, being a support system, as a team, as a fan base. we all need to kind of come together and support one another in this endeavour to kind of stamp out and displace homophobic attitudes and become a more inclusive and supportive network for people like Jake Daniels. And congratulations to you, Jake Daniels. You know, good for you for being brave and taking that step in letting the world see you for who you are. You know, and I hope I speak for a lot of us when I say that we are here to support you, and we are going to be continued allies for you and other people like you to kind of move forward and find an acceptance and a further comfort in being your true, authentic self. And, you know, with that being said, I'm going to end the video there. And, you know, let me know what you think. You know, please continue this discussion. It's a discussion that we all need to have, because this discussion isn't necessarily just about football. It transcends homophobia and inclusivity in all its forms throughout the world, in different sports, different societies, cultures, and everything. And we need to kind of understand that, you know, we need to allow this level of comfort, you know, within all aspects of our lives. So let's just kind of continue to talk, support, and explore. And finally, like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to, because I promise it's good. It's good. It's good.